Okay, so let's start part six, quality culture, changing hearts, minds, and attitudes. We are going to talk about these major topics. Understanding what a quality culture is, quality culture versus traditional cultures, activating culture or change, changing leaders to activate change, and laying the groundwork for a quality culture. Okay. So learning what a quality culture looks like, it's again continuation of topics we want to talk about. Uh, Countering resistance to cultural change, establishing a quality culture, and finally maintaining a quality culture. Okay. So to start, let's start from quality culture. What is actually a quality culture? Basically what it is an organizational value system that results in an environment that is conducive to the establishment and continual improvement of quality. We have been talking about quality improvement, total quality management, all these different concepts in quality. So basically the quality culture is something you want to have in your company, that everybody embrace it and celebrates that culture attitude in your company. So what we exactly mean by quality culture is that there is a value system in place in your company, and it will end in an environment that would be conducive to establishment and continual improvement of quality. So the quality should be improved continually, like a continuous improvement. And it consists of values, traditions, and procedures, and expectations that promote quality. So the quality culture, inside it has the values, the traditions, and the procedures, and also the expectations to promote the quality. So the concept of quality and the idea of quality improvement is always promoted and encouraged in a quality cultural system. Implementing total quality necessitates cultural change in our organization. So we talked about change and quality improvement and total quality management. We concluded that in order for a company to be able to have the total quality management or quality improvement, you need to have change consistently happening around you. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're addressing me, Mr. Zaglon, but my computer's voice is to the max, so I'm not sure if everybody else is hearing me loud and clear. Can everybody hear me? Hmm. Yeah, while your other friends are hearing me clear, I would I would say that your computer's voice is not to the max. So I would just check my volume on my PC or your headphone or something like that, because I'm pretty much shouting almost, and the voice of my computer is to the max. So I would check the computer for those of you who can't hear me. Okay. Very well. So, so where were we? Okay, yeah. So we are talking about change and quality improvement. So change is a consistent concept in quality improvement. So uh, so one of the factors you need to consider and also add to the previous definitions is that, okay, when we want to have change, when we want to improve the quality, the environment should change also. It should be a cultural change in the environment so that it's conducive and encourages the change. And it's very important to know that the 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 change cannot occur and take place in a hostile and unfriendly environment. It should be a friendly environment. Everybody should be helping each other so the change can be happening. And moving to total quality takes time. So total quality management is not an easy job. I mean, we talked about Toyota and those companies that are implementing the TQM. We said that they have been doing it for years and they are the most successful. But not everybody can do it. It's not an easy decision to make, and it's not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of work. So so it should be a very friendly environment. Then it can be difficult to overcome the past also. So a lot of times, uh, a lot of times we want to make some changes, but our past performances is actually following us, and we need to fix some certain things from the past. And it's not easy because that is following us all the way through. So we have to take care of that as well. So all these together will make it more difficult. So change can be difficult because resisting change is natural human behavior. I mean, like every day when we go out of the street, we are trying to resist change. We like those stuff that we are repeating and doing again and again. Change is kind of like new, and we feel uncertain when we face change. And that's why we are sort of resisting it all the time. So, so in any organization, there will be advocates of change and resistance. So when there people will promote change, there will be people who will resist change. Sometimes advocates focus on so intently on the expected benefits of change that they fail to realize, the resistance. Their fear of loss of control, uncertainty, and there's more work for them, so they don't like it. So to overcome those resistors, you need to involve them. When you are involved, when you're afraid, but you're part of the change process, you feel more secure because you are involved in the game. Then you avoid surprises because everybody's informed, everybody's in the picture, and then move slowly at first. So when change comes, there is this urge for us to just rush into the change we want to make and make that happen, just move on. But we need to understand that for those resistors, it's kind of difficult. So it's a good idea to give them some time, slow down a little bit in the first steps, let them adjust to the change environment and change culture, and then we can probably catch on and do it faster. But in the beginning, we got to make sure that we slow down and let everybody on board and involve them, especially those that are fearful of change, they're resisting it. They need to be part of it. And then start small and be flexible. So like small steps, and then be flexible. When somebody don't exactly do what you want to do and it's about a change you're making after like 10 years or whatever, be flexible. Give them some room to adjust themselves. Create a positive environment. So you got to create a positive environment, like a friendly environment that is change conducive. And then incorporate the change. You got to implement and incorporate the change into your system so everybody can adjust themselves. Then provide a quid pro quo, means like same as status quo, like you want to get out of that previous uh, scenario and get into a new scenario, which is the changed version. So you provide an assistance for your employees to get out of what they were doing and get into what you want them to do in the future. So basically, it means that make the change process as smooth as possible. Then respond quickly and positively. Try to respond to every single behavior. Try to be responsive to your employees, especially when the change is happening. You got to take their hand sometimes and just walk them through. Then work with established leaders. So leaders are pretty important here because leaders are those who will give the authority to change. So if you work with them and they're eager to help, that's really wonderful because a lot of times employees will look at them and they will listen to what they say. And then treat people with dignity and respect. Never disrespect your employees. I mean, that's creating a change, bringing about a change in your company is great, but you should not misunderstand that change is not disrespecting or not treating your staff and employees with dignity. Because if you treat them nicely and respectfully, that will help them to make the change easier. But if you are trying to criticize them and put them down, they will not follow you, and you'll be in trouble. And then be constructive. So these are some of them. And then the strategies for establishing a quality culture include the following. Identify the changes needed. So for you to establish a quality culture, you need to identify the changes needed. So a lot of times there require changes that you need to consider, you need to be ready for, you need to find out exactly what are the changes that are required. And then put the plan changes in writing. Always have something in writing. It's always helpful to be prepared and know exactly what you want to do. And then develop a plan for making the changes. Understand the emotional transition process. And then identify key people and make them advocates. So find out who are the key people who have some influence over others and have them help you. And then take a hearts and minds approach. So hearts and minds approach means that your heart, your feelings, and your mind, they both agree on the same concept, and that is change culture. Yeah, Mr. Maha, yeah, that's true. Involving the resistors is really important. It's really helpful because if you involve them, they think they are part of the process, and they they'll open up to the change rather than resisting. Because other than resisting, they have something else to do, and that's helping the change to happen. So that helps them to you know get rid of that feeling that they had. And then apply courtship strategies. So courtship strategies are strategies that are you taking like a sponsorship and helping and extending hand to those that they need some help and give your support. So these are all factors you want to make sure you consider. Then we come to customer satisfaction, retention, and loyalty. So some of the topics we want to talk about is who is the customer, understanding customer defined quality, external customer needs, internal customer needs, communicating with customers, using customer feedback to make design improvement. Okay. So customer satisfaction, retention, and loyalty. So the customer satisfaction process. There is a process to make the customer satisfied, and the customer defined value, customer value analysis, customer retention, establishing a customer focus, recognizing a customer-driven organization, value perception, and customer loyalty model one, customer loyalty versus customer profitability, and customers as innovation partners. So this is actually the flaw of the chapter. Let's just go into the first part, the customer satisfaction, retention, and loyalty. So historically, customers were considered who used the company products and suppliers were outsiders who provided the materials needed to produce the products. So it used to be the case that the customers would be just the buyers of the products, and the suppliers would be the outsiders providing materials. But the contemporary view is that every organization has both internal and external customers. The external customer is the one referred to in the traditional definition. An internal customer is any employee whose work depends on that of employee's work precedes his or hers. Okay. So right now, the definition of customer has changed a little bit. So instead of the customers just being the outsiders, you have two types of customers, internal and external. So external is the same as we talked about, the one that is just a purchaser. But the internal customer is any employee whose work depends on that of the employees whose work precedes him. We talked about this previously, like in the past few chapters, that it really helps with the total quality management and total quality improvement that departments, each department consider the next department that is receiving their work as their customers. So that will help a lot with regard to quality and service. So let's suppose that your department gets the raw material, make it ready, and get all those unnecessary items off of it, and then get it shipped to the next department, which starts the processing. So if you look at the next department, which is in charge of the processing, as your customer, you try to make sure you do a good job because you know that they might complain to you and you might be held accountable. If you look at them as your coworkers, the level of attention you give might be a bit less because you say, okay, these guys are my coworkers. What happens if I make a mistake? I can just correct it. It's not a customer that they will just complain and I get into trouble and all that. But if you look at it as a customer, if you look at it that you are sending these to your customer, you expect anything from a customer. They can complain, they can be happy, or whatever. And so you make sure you perform as good as you can for a customer to like you. So, so the same case here, if you consider the other department as your customer, which is your internal customer, the whole scenario is going to change. So, in total quality setting, customers define quality. So, it is also important. So now we're talking about internal and external customers. But what it is that the customer is the one who defines the quality, you know. So therefore, customer satisfaction must be the highest priority. So your customer must be satisfied, and your customer satisfaction is the most important thing. So customer satisfaction is achieved by producing high quality products that meet or exceed expectations. So it is important to realize that customer satisfaction is only achieved by producing high quality products and at least meet, but better to exceed their expectations. So it must be renewed with each purchase. So the key to establishing the customer focus is to put employees in touch with customers so the customers' needs are known and understood. So this is also very important, that the company should have an open policy when it comes to communication with the staff. A lot of times when the employees are not reachable for customers, and the customers are not able to reach out to the employees and basically tell them their concerns and what they want. This will translate in the future confusions or unsatisfaction or dissatisfaction. So the best is you involve the employees in communicating with the customers, and then customers could voice out their concern and what they like about a certain product, what they expect about a certain product, and that will help the customer to be satisfied. So the 6-step strategy of identifying customer need is as follows. First, speculate about the results. So find out what is the results. Develop an informational gathering plan. So try to gather as much information as you can. So, first you need to plan it and then do the information gathering. And then analyze the results and check the validity of conclusions and take action. So when you want to find out about a customer or how they feel and all that, you need to look into the results and find out and figure out a plan. And with that plan, try to gather as much information as you can, and then check if it's validable, and then take the action necessary. Customer needs are not static. You got to understand that. Therefore, constant contact with customers is essential in total quality setting. So it's very important. Like a lot of times employees have this misconception. They deal with a customer, you give them a product, the product is gone, the customer is so happy because everything was exactly the way they expected, and it's a good story. But then the customer comes back again for a future purchase, like another purchase. The employee does the exact same thing, the same level of service, and the customer is really upset. The customer doesn't like it. Why is that? Because customers' needs are changing. You cannot just give the customer the very same thing and expect them to be happy. A lot of times you can, but there are times that you cannot. And especially when you're doing a total quality management, you cannot. So you got to make sure when you talk to a customer, you try those 6-step strategy to find out why the customer is looking for it. What is the information you need? Analyze that information, and then take the action. So you need to be in contact with your customers. All we are trying to say is that keep in contact with your customers. Whenever possible, this contact should be in person or by telephone. Written surveys can be used, but they will not produce the level of feedback that personal contact can do. So personal contact, either by telephone or in person, you got to see them, you got to talk to them, and find out what they like, what they're happy about, what they're not happy about, and all that, and that will help you to generate what you're looking for. Okay, so now a quick question for the class to have some involvement from you guys too. How do you normally communicate with your customers? Okay, so just some questions to the class. I want some answers, please. If you could tell me, how do you normally communicate with your customers? If you share with us, like, how is it that you communicate with your customers? Who wants to volunteer? Mr. Nazari, would you like to volunteer?
Yes, good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
With our customer, we have our representative company or project representative. They usually used to contact them or used to communicate with them, face-to-face communication or is more common. So otherwise, we keep constant contact with our customers to find if they have any problem, if they are not happy with the quality of the product or with the kind of services we are providing. So we normally try to have contact with them, and then we want to get direct and indirect information from them. So otherwise, it is difficult for us to continue our business. So we have to anyhow know the situation and then know about their problem, if they have any problem, if they are not happy with the product. So we have to bring some changes or improve our products or services to keep them happy. So this is very essential for any business. If we want to continue our business, we have to keep contact, and we have to know their problems. And yes, thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else wants to share how they communicate with their clients or customers? Nobody? Okay. So So yeah, well, it's all about communication. So the feedback you get from your customers is really important. So reading surveys and all these different ways of getting feedback is useful. Yeah, that's right, Ambassador. We should actively listen to our customers and attentive. So then, quality function development is a mechanism for putting into operation the concept of building in quality. It makes customer feedback a normal part of the product development process, thereby improving customer satisfaction. So quality function development is actually a mechanism. Is a mechanism for uh, putting into operation the concept of building quality. So customer feedback is actually incorporated as a normal process into the production. So measuring customer satisfaction alone is not enough, though. So regarding the question we have an answer from Mr. Akmal. It says, usually communication with the customers are being communicated through different methods. The more usual way is to conduct structural survey. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the surveys are pretty common. A lot of companies do that as a part of their operation. So the feedback they get is a kind of a way of measurement of the result of the performance of the employee of themselves. So a lot of companies do that. Then we also have this concept that measuring customer satisfaction alone is not enough. Many customers who defect are satisfied. Organizations should, in addition, measure the customer's retention. The idea is to keep the customer. And organizations should go beyond satisfying customers to creating value for them in every supplier-customer relationship. Once again, we are facing this idea of value, that it's all about adding value to people's life. So the customer loyalty model consists of 4 components. So the customer loyalty model, where the customer is loyal to you, is inclusive of 4 parts. We have 2 comments here. We have to anticipate customer objections and questions. That's very true. We should be ready for that. We should be ready for the objections and take the right action, or we should be ready for questions, or we should provide the answers. And then keep the customer informed. Yes, keep them in the picture. Very true. So business performance, global perception, and loyalty behaviors, and then financial outcome. So we have the business performance. So the performance of the company is really important in creating a customer loyalty. We want to have a loyal customer. We got to make sure that the performance of our business is where it should be. And then the perception of our company that they have globally is also very important. and then loyalty behaviors. You need to be loyal, and then financial outcomes. So the goal of organizations should be more than just earning customer loyalty. It should be earning the loyalty of profitable customers. Organizations should never assume a positive correlation between customer loyalty and profitability, nor should they assume that the customer who is initially profitable will always be profitable. So it's important to understand this factor also. So a lot of times companies, they just look at loyal customers. But you got to understand that loyal customer doesn't mean that those customers that are profitable. A lot of times the loyal customers are not profitable. So it's important to focus on those loyal customers that are profitable. It doesn't mean that treat the other customers that are not profitable badly. I mean, that should not be even an option. But what I mean is, you need to focus on profitability as well. So the marriage between the profitability or total quality management and profitability is that you need to focus on those who are bringing you profit. So, let me ask you this question. Why is loyalty important? So why do you think loyalty is important? Anybody wants to answer this question? Yeah, loyalty of customers. Why it's important to have loyal customers?
Loyalty is very important because customer can trust the company, or they can believe on the quality of the product, or maybe so. Loyalty is kind of so if there is loyalty, so it means that the customer can trust the company, or so I don't know more explanation how I should explain.
Well, of course, customers can trust company, and that's true. And we just introduced the idea that not all loyal customers are necessarily profitable. That is true, especially for those customers that are loyal, but they're very demanding, because a lot of times your loyal customers might become your most demanding customers. So it's important to understand that not the fact that the mere fact that they are your loyal customers means that they bring you profitability. But don't forget that your loyal customers, I mean your profitable loyal customers, are those who bring you the majority of your profit. So loyal customers is really important. It's nothing to just ignore so easily because it has a huge importance and influence on your performance as a company. So, but the question of why loyal customers are important is more of what is the role of your loyal customers in your business? Other than, I mean, I just mentioned that they are bringing you a lot of profit. What else do they do? What do you think?
They they don't complain from our product, and maybe they will tell other people that they have to buy product from our company, or so this may be one of the reasons that loyal customers should not easily stop purchasing or purchasing product from us, and then even if they are not happy, they will come to us, and then they will tell their problem, and then but not to complain to others, and then to destroy the company. So the because they trust us, and then they are our customers for a long time. So still they don't want easily to stop purchasing product from the company. Yes, sir.
Yes, that's true. And you mentioned a very important point that loyal customers normally, if they are even unhappy, they will give us feedback rather than just complaining. And so the best feedback we get is from our loyal customers. So uh, so even the complaint they give you is like very productive because it gives you a lot of points that they tell you exactly how they want it to be because they don't want to leave you. They are just not happy with certain performance that you did, and they want to see the changes because they want to stay and still continue getting your product. So what they really require is not necessarily just to complain, but they want you to change in a way that they would be happy and they could continue being your customer. So that is really important. And then they also, give you a lot of good word of mouth. You just mentioned that. That's really true. Because what your customers tell about you is the most successful or most productive way of, marketing. If you tell good stuff about yourself, or on marketing or whatever method you use, it's okay. But if you have a customer, a loyal customer, a satisfied customer who is talking about you, that would be the best way of marketing because uh, because that helps the people or the customers to exactly know what to expect because another customer is just giving you the best word of mouth. So very, very good. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Then we have from Mr. Akmal, no any organization or other development firm can grow without customers. Loyalty is the main element of promotion and sustainability. Loyal customers have more role to encourage other new clients. Yeah, Mr. Akmal, you're absolutely right. Buying the products and spread the news, very true. And then they trust you and provide quality products, customer services. Okay. Yeah, that trust they give you is also very important. You make sales to loyal customers across potential life and thus increase your overall sales volume. Yeah, that's true. You can cross sell. You can cross sell, and when you cross sell, you sell them different products. They come in for some one product, and then you give them like 4 or 5 because they trust you, and you give them advice, and they take it. So it's true. Okay. An innovative approach to product development that is gaining acceptance is turning customers into innovation partners. So this is also a very important and interesting concept of turning your customers into innovation partners. So with this approach, the customer is given a technological toolkit for designing his or her own product and making product innovations. This approach is implemented using following steps. First of all, develop a toolkit for customers that is easy to use. Increase the flexibility of your production process. Carefully select the first customer to use your the toolkit, and then continually improve your toolkit, and finally adapt your business practices to suit the innovation partnership. So this is just an example of giving toolkit, but having your customer as a general partner, as an innovation partner, is really helpful. So what you basically do, you're constantly seeking and looking for comments, for feedbacks, for dissatisfactions from your loyal customer, and all that is going to help you to build a better product. See what we have in here. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. So some other topics that we have in here. We have employee empowerment, rationale of empowerment, inhibitors of empowerment, management's role in empowerment, implementing empowerment, how to recognize empowered employees, and beyond empowerment. So these are some of the topics that we want to talk about. Okay. So what do we mean by empowerment? Empowerment means engaging employees in thinking process of an organization in ways that matter, and involvement means having input. And then empowerment means having input that is heard and used, and it means giving employees ownership of their job. So empowerment requires a change in organizational culture, but it does not mean that the managers abdicate their responsibility or authority. Okay. So basically by empowerment, we involve the customers in the thinking process. We give them the ownership of their jobs. So the employees, when they are empowered, they take ownership of what they do. And when they do that, they really want to do it like perfectly, without any error. So it's great to involve your employees and give them authority and power and create that culture that every single employee matters to the company, that every single employee has an important role. So Do you want to share anything, Mr. Nazari?
We are increasing their decision-making power and then try to help them to be enabled to solve their problem by themselves, make decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. So by empowering your employees, you're actually involving them in the process of decision making and everything. So that will help the company to perform better. Okay. Then we have continuation of employee empowerment. So the rationale behind empowerment is that it is the best way to increase creative thinking. You would not think of doing something better unless you're given the authority to do that and you feel that you have some free room to make some changes. If I tell you, do this exactly the way I tell you, you would not even think of an innovative way of doing it with a better, faster, more efficient, performance. You just do it the same way I tell you, and that will be killing your innovation. But for those new companies that are looking for innovation, that are looking for chances, that are looking for great ideas, they should try giving their employees chances to make decisions. Okay. Yeah, Mrs. Zagun has a very nice comment that they can speak up and they'll be heard, and it's like the greatest asset to the highest potential is being used when we're empowering our employees. Very, very true. So, besides the fact that they have the authority and everything to make some changes and that they become more innovative, they are encouraged also because they feel that they have some certain say in the process. Then the primary inhibitor, uh, in uh, of empowerment is resistance to change. So we have that resistance to change even when we want to empower our employees. So resistance may come from employees or unions or management-related inhibitions, or excluding security or personal values, ego management training, and then personality characteristics, exclusion, organizational structures, and management practices. So these inhibitions can come from any birth, but it's just a resistance to change, and we need to face that challenge. So management role in empowerment is best described as commitment. Yeah, accountability is really important. That's right, Ms. Masuda. Yeah, holding them accountable to produce the outcome needed is really important. So management role in empowerment is best described as commitment leadership and facilitation. So the management becomes facilitator of these changes that are happening. The kind of support managers can provide include having a supportive attitude. So their supportive attitude is really important. And role modification and training facilities and taking quick action and recognizing the accomplishment of employees. So let me just do something real quick. Okay. I'm just trying to locate a video that I want to show you about employee empowerment. Okay, let me just show you this. Okay, that's good. Let's go here.
I love it. Now, when is the last time you said that about your work or your career? If you're scratching your head now and thinking, it's been ages, you need to think carefully about why it's been ages and what you can do to make that change. A number of years ago, I wrote a book called Love 'Em or Lose 'Em, and it was a book for managers. And it said to managers, you either love your people, treat them well, or you're going to lose them. And managers said, that's good advice, Bev, but what about them? What about employees? Don't they need to come to me and say, here's what I want, here's what would satisfy me more, instead of expecting us to read their minds? And it dawned on me, they're absolutely right. You have a role. You have a role in managing your own satisfaction. You have a very important role in managing your own engagement. You need to think about what you want, and you need to make your needs known. And you need to make them known not just to managers, but perhaps to your peers, to your colleagues, etc., and to yourself. So the sequel to Love 'Em or Lose 'Em is Love It, Don't Leave It, 26 ways to get what you want at work. And in that book, I outline 26 strategies for you to take charge of your own happiness and fulfillment on the job. And if you work through all 26 strategies in that book and you still say, I gotta go, what we say to you in the very last chapter is don't go till you think about the equity you're leaving on the table, job equity. And it's not just financial, that's only one kind of equity. It is skill equity. You learned how to deploy your skills in a certain way in your current organization. They're not going to be deployed exactly that way as you move on. The third kind of equity is influence equity. Think about all the people you've learned to influence to get what you want in your current organization and how you have to relearn all that if you move. And the fourth kind, and critical, is social equity. Think about the friends you made, the colleagues you have, the people you go to lunch with in your current organization, and how that too has to start all over again. So if you're thinking about leaving, consider those 4 kinds of job equity and think twice. Because I'll tell you, the pasture isn't always greener. In fact, it might be astroturf. So you want to think twice before you hop to something that looks better. You want to see whether or not you can make it work right where you are. The word action is embedded in the word satisfaction. And if satisfaction is what you're after, you need to take action. And this action is not just for your own good. We know that if you're happy in your work, it bleeds over into your home life. But for your organization as well, to maximize your talent, they want you to be satisfied. And they need you to tell them what it takes and to collaborate with them in the problem solving that has to go on to make sure you get what you want at work.
Okay. Let me just set my microphone. Okay, so as you can see, here, the empowerment of employees are really important, and especially creating this mindset in them that they themselves have a role as well. So for them to really feel involved and be engaged and be able to talk to you and express themselves is the cultural environment that you got to create, and it's not just something happens by itself. So as leaders, managers, you got to create that kind of mindset. So it's not that you just go to them and ask them about it. You got to create that kind of relationship that they will be able to come and express themselves. So that's part of empowerment and involvement that you're talking about. Okay? So let's give you a task before we move forward, because this video I want you to reiterate and sort of connect these dots together, what we have been talking about. So the question is, how how employee empowerment is influential in satisfying satisfaction and retention of the customers. Okay, so the question is, this question is addressed to you regarding your own work environment. So wherever you work, we are looking at exactly your work environment, not necessarily like anywhere else. So I need a personal example. So using what we just heard on the video and what we have been talking, how the employee empowerment can help us, regain and retain customers, especially loyal customers. So what is the relationship between satisfaction of our customers and employee empowerment? So take a moment, like a few minutes. I give you a few minutes to think about it, and then we will discuss it before we move forward. Any questions about the task? Any questions? Okay, so then just go ahead and start working on it for a few minutes, and we will go from there. Okay, so let's see what you got for the question. Who wants to volunteer? Mr. Nazari, would you want to go first?
Uh, when we empower our employee, or when the project or company em- empowers their employees, so we increase their trust and confidence. We can give their more trust and confidence, and their interest will be increased in their job, and they will be more sincere to the company, and they try to do good job, and try to say good things about the products, about the company. So in this way, and so the customer, we can increase the number of customer, and so these kind of things. Sorry. Yes.
Okay, very good. Yes, that's great in the sense that with the empowered employees, they have the power to make changes, right? So when the customer is making a complaint, they have some power to make some recommendations, changes, to take action actually. So that will help with the customer's satisfaction. That's right. Empowered employees feel more confident and try to give their best to their employees. That's very true. As a result, service quality improves, quality of service quality, and results into a higher level of customer satisfaction. Higher level of customer satisfaction results into bigger sales. That is true. Basically, higher level of customer satisfaction results into a bigger sales. So bigger number of sales and bigger number of satisfaction, they all translate into a better quality and better performance for your customers.
So the employees, they think that they also involve in decision making, and they have also they are allowed to make action, and they are allowed to make certain decisions, and so kind of they are not the real ownership, but they think that we also uh, have some role in continuing the business, and providing services, and so this can increase the number of customer, and then also the number of sale, and yeah, this kind of things.
Exactly. Very true. Yeah. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Very true. So. Okay. So let me show you another video on customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction. Yeah, so as customer satisfaction is the prime target of every business venture, whatever strategies, policies, Okay, that's true. So let's go ahead and see this video together.
So what exactly is employee engagement? Why should you as a business leader or a manager care about it? Well, over the next few minutes, I'm going to define it using what we call the X model of engagement to talk about how you can build a more engaged workforce in your organization to help drive performance. Let's start by looking at what your organization is trying to achieve, your success. Success is defined by your business goals, and most likely your financial targets, and how well you achieve those goals, your performance. The core values are also an important part of your strategy since they help guide the daily actions of your organization. To stay competitive, your organization needs individuals who are willing and able to perform at higher levels, to give more at work, to give maximum contribution to the organization. But it's not something that you could mandate or delegate to your managers, and it's not easy. Increased contribution is the prize of a more engaged workforce, but it's only one half of the story. It's just one half of what we call the engagement equation. Individual employees are on a separate path toward their own and unique definition of success at work. It's based on personal values, goals, career aspirations, and work-life needs. And it could be defined as greater compensation, professional growth, greater work-life balance. But unlike the organization, there's no one answer. There's no right answer. Individuals are all looking for work that works for them personally, and they're looking for maximum satisfaction. And when I say individuals, I mean everyone, executives, managers, and individual contributors. They're all pursuing their own individual definitions of success, and ultimately, they need to take control of their own engagement. So the organization is pursuing its definition of success, and individuals are pursuing theirs. These two strategies intersect daily at a place we call the job. This is the point where what the organization needs employees to give and what employees want to get from the job come together. We define full engagement as the intersection of maximum contribution for the organization and maximum satisfaction for the individual. This is the apex in our model, a sustainable level of high performance that mutually benefits both parties. Of course, as we look across any organization, not everyone's at the apex, certainly not all the time. There's a wide distribution in terms of contribution, with high performers on one end and people who aren't contributing much on the other. Individuals, too, don't always get what they're looking for. They're at different levels of satisfaction. Some people are fortunate enough to be at the apex, high on both contribution and satisfaction. We call this group the engaged. Now let's look at some other scenarios. Some people are high on satisfaction, but they aren't contributing fully. There are a few things that might be going on here. The person might be new to the organization or new to the role. Although satisfaction's high, they're not yet fully up to speed. We call this group the honeymooners. We also find people that are incredibly busy here. They're working hard, but on the wrong things. Or people who have found a nice, cozy spot in the organization and are content with minimum contribution. So whether they're running hard on an exercise wheel or tucked away somewhere cozy, we call this group the hamsters. On the opposite side of the model, we have individuals who are delivering great results, but for one reason or another, not getting what they want from the work. We call this group the crash and burners. And you need to pay close attention to this group. Clearly, their level of contribution needs to be sustained for the organization to succeed. But left unmanaged, these individuals will eventually find one of two exit routes from this unsatisfying situation. They might quit at a great known cost to the organization, or more likely, they'll simply pull back on their contribution and drift into the lower part of the model. In effect, they quit and stay. The impact of drifting isn't as obvious as when they leave outright, but the impact on performance can be substantial. Here they join the disengaged, low on satisfaction and contribution, where no one is getting what they need from the relationship. Disengaged employees often have turned an emotional corner, and their attitudes and behaviors can be contagious to the other groups. Here, the partnership between the company and the individual is clearly in need of a fix, but your existing performance management processes have failed to address the situation. So what about the people in the center? This is an important group we refer to as the almost engaged. Important because they tend to be a large part of the employee population doing a decent job and reasonably satisfied. They're more employable than the disengaged and more likely to consider a new employer than the fully engaged. And because they're decent performers, it's tempting to focus your coaching efforts elsewhere. So the challenge for your organization is managing this dynamic, aligning individuals to your goals to achieve maximum contribution, while at the same time supporting individual employees' path to personal success at work. It's a challenge you can't solve with a survey and a few organization-wide initiatives. And it's not solely the job of the executives or the managers. To drive employee engagement, you must make it a daily priority. Creating a more engaged workforce is a shared responsibility. It requires a teamed approach, a partnership involving individuals, managers, and executives. Individuals need to act on their engagement. They need to take time to assess their own goals and satisfaction drivers to clearly define what success looks like for them. Since this is a partnership, they need to communicate with their manager primarily, not only to share their aspirations and needs, but also to clarify where the organization needs them to focus their talents and energy. And finally, they have to take action. They can expect help, coaching and guidance along the way, but at the end of the day, they own their engagement. They need to find ways to get to the apex. Managers play an important role. Since engagement is an individualized equation, only they can work one-on-one with their team members to coach them to higher levels. The fact is, managers need to care about engagement if they want to reach their goals. They need to build solid coaching relationships with their team members. They need to coach for performance and for development. They need to align daily priorities, interests, and talents to the organization's goals. They need to recognize and show appreciation for discretionary effort and achievements that are in line with the strategy. And finally, they need to engage themselves and engage each individual on the team in dialogue about what matters most for the organization and for them. The best managers are able to directly connect the individual passions and proficiencies of their team to the organization's priorities. Okay, so what about the executives, the senior leaders? What is their role in this teamed approach? Clearly, they are also individuals and need to pay attention to their own engagement and the engagement of their direct reports. They need to model what they expect their managers to do with their teams. This is a great opportunity to lead by example. But beyond this, they have an important role in setting the tone, providing clarity around the goals and the strategy. Ultimately, they need to make their case for engagement. By this I mean they need to foster a sense of community within the organization. They have to be authentic in what they say and what they do. They must provide significance to the aims of the organization to really help employees find greater meaning in the work they do and build excitement to move the organization forward. By making engagement a part of the company culture, making it a daily occurrence versus an event, and by addressing it as a team at the individual, manager, and executive levels, an organization can, over time, build a culture of engagement that drives performance, one in which each individual is achieving his or her ambitions and finding maximum satisfaction in their work, but also contributing more at work to drive the organization's success.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. So, I hope you enjoyed that clip I showed you. It was also showing on how to engage the employees and the staff, and it was very much related to what we talked about. Are there any questions, any comments or questions, Mr. Nazari, before we end the class? Okay, so we can finish the class today, and I'll see you next week.